Today I'm going to look at turning this particular picture of the E18G Growler from Brisbane River Fire into a picture that looks like it's at a nice sunset. You can see that this was actually taken during golden hour. You can see just on the building here some of the nice sun reflected off that. You can see in the clouds as well there's a bit of colour in there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring that right out and make it look a lot more golden. So let's make a start. First thing I want to do is I want to work with a couple of masks. So I'm going to make a mask of the subject, which is the aircraft, and what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to check to make sure I'm happy with that mask. So I just want to get in nice and close. Just make sure it's mastered off properly. And you can see there's a couple of things that we want to work on here. In between the jets, we've got the afterburner going. This bit of the sky here, I need to make sure that I take that out of the mask. There's a couple of little bits around here as well that I'll also take out. So what I'll do is I'm just going to go to subtract, and I'm going to do select objects. What that will allow me to do is just to paint over the areas I don't want to be included in that mask. And it will just take it out for me. So we'll just continue on, just get rid of some of these other bits that I don't really want to be masked. So there's a couple of little bits in here. Usually it's in the corners that you need to concentrate on. So I'll just do that. Won't be real noticeable, these couple of bits I'm taking out, but while I'm here I might as well use that time, do it right. If you're going to go to the effort of doing an edit like this, you want to make sure that you're giving it the best chance to look how you want. So that little bit of extra time, makes a big difference, I think. It's all about getting the details right. I can probably get rid of a little bit more just in here. I think the rest of it's been masked pretty well. Alright, so now that I've done that, what I'm going to do, and I'll just get rid of a little bit more actually, just down here between where the afterburner is, just get rid of a little bit of that. As I was saying, once I've got the subject done, I'm going to then go and duplicate and invert that mask. And I will just hit subtract subject, just to make sure I get rid of all those little bits and pieces that were covered. And you can see just in here I've lost a little bit of the sky, so I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to add that back in. Okay, it's gone a little bit too far and it's gone over the jet, so I'm just going to go back again, this time just with the brush, and just take that out. As I said, it's a bit fiddly, but I think well and truly worth your time to get it right. You put so much effort into getting the photos on the day, you want to make sure that you give it every chance of being as good a photo as possible. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to zoom back out so I can see all of the background here, the sky and the building and bridge. And this is where I'm going to just start working on bringing out a lot of the colour. And so I'm going to go in and I'm going to move the temp slide. You can see that's bringing out the temperature on the reflection, and it's bringing it out in the clouds as well. And I can just play with the sliders till I get something that I'm fairly happy with. Now the one thing I'm also going to look at here is the dehaze. You can see if I start manipulating the dehaze, it brings out a lot of the features in the clouds. You can also probably see that there's quite a bit of noise. So what I'm going to do to try and just alleviate some of that is take out texture and a bit of the clarity. I think I've just overcooked it there a little bit. Bring that back. Don't want it to be too yellow. Don't want it to look too fake. Okay, you can see we've reduced a bit of the noise there. We haven't got rid of it all, but that's okay. We'll deal with that shortly. Alright, so just a little bit of saturation, and I'm fairly happy with the sky. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to the jet, and I am going to just bring the exposure up a little bit, bit of contrast. We will bring the shadows up to bring more detail from the plane out, and we'll just play with the highlights, the whites and the blacks. And because it's a bit small, I'm going to just zoom in to see what's exactly going on here. Okay, so you can see if I play with the sliders, what effect it's having. So I want to bring the blacks down a bit. White's about there. Shadows are good. I'm happy with the highlights. And again, I'm going to drag that slider towards the yellow in the temperature. Give it a little bit of saturation. And for this one, I'm actually going to go a little bit up with the texture and the clarity. I know that it gives you a lot of grain there, but that's okay. Well, as I said, we'll fix that sort of stuff up a little bit later. You can see we can already start to affect that just by going the noise reduction. Okay, I'm fairly happy with that. What I'll do next is I'll just zoom back out, make sure that the plane and the sky are pretty much, one's not too dark, one's not too light, so that they're matching a little bit, and so it doesn't look too fake, basically. Alright, so moving to the basic section now. I'm not working with the mask. This is going to be global. Whatever I do here is going to affect the whole picture. So just bring the shadows up a little bit across the whole picture. A little bit of clarity, a little bit of texture. Not too much. I don't want to go overboard with that. And just play with the vibrance a little bit. I quite like it about there. Now I can go in and play with the tone curve as well, which will help me adjust the colours a little bit. I think probably just up a little bit there, but I quite like that. And you can see how we've already changed this picture. Move into the colour grading. I don't tend to use the colour mixer a lot, but I do like to get into the colour grading and just play with that. So just bringing the midtones down there. Look at the shadows. I'm going to bring them down a little bit too to bring out some of the bridge detail. And then we've got the highlights. I'm just going to bring that up a little bit, make it nice and bright. And here's where we're going to start fixing up that graininess, the noise that we had. So I'm actually going to sharpen part of it, but I don't want to sharpen the whole picture. I've already got a lot of grain in there, so I don't want to sharpen all that. So I'm going to hold the Option key down on my Mac, and then I'm going to slide the masking slider across until I'm just affecting the parts in white that you can see. So the lines, you can see it's not going to be touching the sky or majority of the picture. It's just those white lines that this is going to affect. So just bump the sharpness up a little bit, and to get rid of this noise that we got here, we're going to hit denoise. Now that will go through and denoise that. You can see that it's now much clearer than what it was previously. You can just see how much clearer it is. It's gotten rid of a lot of that noise, that graininess. It has meant that we need to do a bit of an update to the masking here. So when you see that little thing go yellow, that section there just means there's some work that can be done. Sometimes that works out for you, sometimes it doesn't. It changes things to a point where you want to basically get rid of it. If it doesn't work, just Command or Control Z, depending on whether you're a Mac or a PC, and you can go back to where it was before. So I know in some of my pictures I've taken people out of the picture. When I've hit that update, it's updated the masks and brought parts of them back in. So it just depends on what the picture is and what it's looking at as to what it might do. So just check your picture after you've clicked it to make sure it's still as you would like it to be. Moving into the effects, I just check it with what it would look like with a bit of a vignette. I don't think it's going to make a big deal. I've got a little bit of a vignette on there, but not much. And then the last thing I do is I come into the calibration, and I'll just play with the sliders until I get something that I think looks good. I think we're getting probably just a little bit too yellow down in this section here. So just play with that until I get something that I like, and I think that's pretty good. So if you can see how the picture was previously to how it is now, a massive difference, and it looks like a really nice sort of sunset type picture now, in that golden hour. So all those colours are obviously in there, in that raw. It's just a matter of bringing those out. And as always, once I have completed, I will export. I'm just going to call this Brisbane River Fire. I normally put the date in as well, but I've already edited the majority of these pictures, so this is just a one-off. I'm just going to call it Brisbane River Fire. Hit export, it'll take me to Photoshop, and the reason I'm going there is to put my logo in. I think I said it before, I'm not sure if you can actually put your logo in Lightroom. I've not found anywhere where you can. It doesn't have the layers like Photoshop, so I just flick it over to Photoshop just to get those layers in. Alright, so we're just waiting for this to export, and it looks like I'm about to have my battery go on me, so I'll just need to plug in. Okay, crisis averted. Little tip for young players, check your battery before you start filming. I'll obviously cut all that out, but I almost had the laptop die on me because I didn't have power connected to it, down to 2%. So as I was saying, into Photoshop, grab my logo and drag that over to photo, put it in a spot where it's a little bit out of the way, down in that bottom corner, I think will work. Okay, and there we are, our edited photo. Just to let you know, my organisation for these is I always make sure that I save a PSD file of the pictures I've edited, and the reason I do that is I might want to go back and I might want to do some more editing. If I've got that PSD file, I can. So I'll just save that as a PSD. And then I will also go in and save copy. So on the Mac it's just Command Option S to bring that up. And I'll always save a small version, and it's always a JPEG. And I save that so that I've got a low res copy of it, so that if I want to email or something to show somebody, I can send them that lower res picture, and it will go across quite easily in the email, whereas the higher megabyte files, depending on your email provider, may or may not get there, depending on if they have size limits, that sort of stuff. So once I've done that, I will then go and I'll do my full high quality version JPEG. So I'll call it L's for large, and I will make that the highest quality I can get. Now if that goes above 20 meg, I will create a third file called M, and that's for medium. And I'll drag the slider here down until I'm below 20 meg, and the reason I do that is some of the places I upload to, the files need to be less than 20 meg to be able to be uploaded. So I just make sure I've got a file that it'll accept, basically. And once I've done that, I can just get out of Photoshop, and I am done. And I have my files ready to be uploaded or emailed or whatever I need in my edited folder. And you can see they're the files that we've just created of that particular picture. There it is there. So that's it for today. If you're liking what you're seeing, please like, comment and subscribe. And you can also follow me on Facebook. If you go to Facebook and look up Scholstein Photography, you can follow me there as well. Any follows, likes, comments, subscribes obviously help out the channel, which I'm trying to grow, trying to get my pictures out there, get them off hard drives and get them out for people to actually view and enjoy. So any help you can give me there in getting those out would be great and much appreciated. Anyway, that's all. Bye for now.